watching Rogers TV.
There you go.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Let's call this meeting to order. And first, Deputy Mayor, if you would, please, read our land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We respectfully acknowledge the City of Cornerbrook as the ancestral homeland of different populations of Indigenous people. We also acknowledge with respect the rich histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a committee of the whole agenda tonight. Would someone like to move the approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you. A seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. We have some minutes from our regular meeting, October 7th. Would someone like to move the approval of the minutes, please? Thank you very much. Seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. We have some decisions from a CC meeting, a council and committee meeting. Councillor Granter, would you walk us through that, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. In accordance with Section 41(3) of the City of Cornerbrook Act, where a decision is made by the councillors at a privileged meeting, the decision, in order to be valid, shall be ratified at a public meeting of the council. The following minutes are being brought forward for ratification. Council and committee meeting, September the 23rd, 2024. CC 24-039, approval of agenda on a motion by Councillor Charles Pender, seconded by Councillor Granter. It is resolved to approve the agenda as circulated. Motion carried. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder?
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried.
CC 24-041, contribution agreement for project number 226273. On a motion by Councillor Granter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Cherchon. It is resolved that the Council of the City of Cornerbrook accept the funding provided by ACOA for the regional branding project number 226273 in the amount of $245,475. The Cornerbrook City Council authorizes the city manager to sign the offer of assistance under the Regional Innovation Ecosystem Fund through ACOA. Motion carried. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Thank you very much. Do we have any business arising from the previous minutes? There, we got a pretty broad agenda tonight, so I'm sure that any questions or things will come up during the various reports. We have some proclamations and events. Again, it was very nice this morning. We welcomed some of our business community into Chambers, and it is Small Business Week. Since small businesses represent a tradition of hard-working, dedicated individuals striving to provide for their families, create job opportunities for their neighbors, and make invaluable contributions to their community. And of course, small businesses are very important, not only for employment, they employ a large number of people in our community, they also are the people that we turn to when it comes to looking for sponsorship for your kids' hockey team or some other charity event. These are the businesses we rely on, and so we're very happy to recognize their week. As well, on October 17th, we declared Credit Union Day, and credit unions have championed the idea that people from all walks of life should have access to affordable financial services offered by credit unions to empower people to improve their economic situations. So happy to do that. Another thing I would like to mention is we did have a celebration here at City Hall for former Mayor Priscilla Butcher as well. And I don't know, it was organized in part, or mostly in part, I would say, by Councillor Gill. So Councillor Gill, I don't know if you'd like to say something about that event.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it was a great event, personally. Priscilla was thrilled. She was really speechless at the end of it. She was so pleased. Her family is pleased. It was really great to see some councillors, Deputy Mayor and councillors attend the event, and yourself, of course, Mr. Mayor. And, you know, it was just so great to see the community come out and appreciate all the work that she's done and really paved the way for female councillors like myself, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Keeping. She was the third only. There were only 2 female councillors before she was elected, and she served a total of 24 years on council. 2 as deputy mayor, 1 as mayor, and the rest as councillor, and I was privileged to have spearheaded that event yesterday, so I'm very pleased, and thank you to everybody who took part. And thank you to our staff, of course. Oh, and thank you to Coleman's, who provided sandwiches and cookies.
Absolutely, and we don't usually open up City Hall when we're asked to host a party, but I think that the 90th for someone who's contributed so much to the community, absolutely. And I got special privilege. I was asked to dance with her. So I got to have a little scuff with her. So that was a real treat. So again,
Yeah, it might have been a...
That's right.
Might have been a privilege for you, but I don't know what it was for her.
she asked me. Hey, she asked me. That's because I'm a good dancer. No,
Okay.
Thank you very much. It was an excellent event, and it's really we should recognize our contributors to our community like that for sure. The first report we have from Protective Services, Councillor Granter.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, I won't go through all the numbers, but I'll just give a brief overview. Municipal enforcement officers received 154 calls for service, including some of the following. 43 calls for service were received and included 3 abandoned vehicles, 6 for assistance, 7 for pest issues, rats, 6 for untidy properties. There were 13 calls for taxi regulations. 1 of those was a taxi driver conduct, 11 for taxi driver permits, 30 calls for animal control. There were 69 parking-related violations, 2 for illegal parking, 54 for meter expired, 3 for ticket voided. There were 41 calls for service with the Corner Brook Fire Department. Some of those include structure fires, residential, 3 residential alarms, 20 commercial alarms, for 41 in total. There were 7,860 calls to the public safety answering point, which is not totally province-wide, but includes most of the province, as we talked about in our last meeting. 3,594 of those calls were for ambulance, 254 for fire, and Northern 9115, and police calls were 1,544, Mr. Mayor. That's a reduced report on that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions on any of those items? Yes.
What is a lift assist?
Maybe, yes.
Yes,
Flynn?
Mr. Mayor. Lift Assist is where we help the ambulance department in conveying people from a home or whatever, an emergency call.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And yeah, any other questions there?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just came into my head. How are we doing with our parking program with the app? Have most people downloaded that? How many people are still putting quarters in the meter?
Yeah, Mr. Flynn, would you like to comment on that?
Sure. Mr. Mayor, I haven't got the stats in front of me. We are having a few little bugs with the program. We are seeing some uptake, but not to the extent that we'd like to see. And we're working through. We were on a call with the vendor today, actually, to iron out some of the tweaks that we needed in the program. So,
Mr. Mayor, maybe we need to do a bit more promotion on it, or to get some uptake. Or...
Yeah, and I guess it's an issue too as well, just to correct some difficulties with the app itself. Or?
Some of the functionality things there were in question. One of them was the wallet, required wallet, right. But that is actually an item that you click on inside the app in the app settings, and it sets itself up. Once you download the app, it automatically sets it up, that requirement, but you can go in and remove that so it goes straight to your credit card. That was one of the things, and we're having some little bugs with it, but we're working through them.
But Mr. Mayor, I'm really pleased to see that we're still accepting the coin. because of course, there are those in our city that are more used to that rather than the technology, so it's good to see that we're still allowing that. That's
The
great.
only issue is, of course, that what we've noticed in recent years is the heads of the meters are becoming how do you say this? Antiques. So procuring them is at quite a cost, and we do, of course, have to go through them quite often. So a lot of jurisdictions, of course, are moving away from coin. So
It's generational.
It is a painful process, I know, but I think that it's inevitable that we're going to have to move to some digital
We'll get there.
thing down the road, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Chason, we have a couple of reports from Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Water and wastewater work summaries, and this goes from September the 6th to October the 11th, 2024. Under water and wastewater complaints, we had 111, with the top leader was alarms, and next to that was curb stop repair. Under water, wastewater media releases, we had 23, and that include everything from road closures, water outages, boil water advisory, all those things. Water and wastewater recoverable works, we had $1,936.06. We had requests to turn water off. And of course, if we turn it off, we got to turn it back on. And we had 6 to turn it back on, requests to turn water on 1. Curb stop repairs, we had 4, and then we had sewer main 1 and a valve repair, we had 3 for a total of 8. Our additional maintenance repairs is going on as scheduled. We got everything from hydrant maintenance, sanitary sewer lift stations, water supply intake screens, chlorination station, and splash pad has been winterized for the winter. Maintenance repairs are ongoing for the annual maintenance programs. Mainline valve repair, leak detectors, wastewater flow monitoring, and completing work for the other departments outside the source, such as capital works projects and Glen Power. And we added reflective marker tape to the air relief vacuum breakdown chambers and vents point on O'Connell Drive. And we had the fall facility cleanup in our remote stations. And our upcoming maintenance, of course, with winter coming, we got to install new water and sewer services, install new flow meters, at Lundrican, Sunny Slope, and the chlorination station on Wellington Street. Sanitary sewer route cutting, scheduled to start the week of October the 14th, and cap sprinkler water line 71 Humber Road. Under water treatment plant maintenance, we had some interesting stuff happening out there this past month. On September the 5th, I'll read it, one that's really interesting. On September the 5th, the plant experienced a chlorine leak, gas leaks. Cornwall Fire Department was called for a hazmat response. The leak was found to be from the vacuum regulator on toner number 2. It occurred because of an improperly sealed threaded connector on the regulator. The leak was determined to be a small, and concentration of chlorine gas was low, with a maximum reading of 4 to 6 ppm. In accordance with the water treatment plant chlorine gas leak response plan, it was determined that it would be safe for the water treatment plant staff to enter the room in a level B suit less than 25 ppm. Ryan Gould entered the toner room with a level B hazmat suit escorted by the Cornwall Fire Department to help investigate the leak. Ryan was able to find the leak almost immediately and isolated the toner number 2, stopping the leak. The regulator was removed and replaced with a spare unit and sent out for inspection. So hats off, I guess, to our workers and the Cornwall Fire Department for working together on that and coming up with a really good solution. And on September 26th, the plant was shut down overnight for approximately 3.5 hours to replace the raw water flow control valve. The old valve was removed and the new valve was installed with a temporary manual hand wheel operating gearbox. The new actuator and gearbox will be installed later once the new valve operating extension shaft is fabricated. So interesting stuff happening at all our places. Maintenance report, our upcoming maintenance, we start winterizing the property, flow control valves and flash nicks, staff, common channel, drain clean and inspection. I think that's about it, Mr. Mayor. I got the tops of the trees on that one.
And I know that you know exactly, like we all do, how that work is done.
Every bit of it.
Very technical.
Yeah.
That we
I know
are
what
all,
they-
and if it wasn't for us here in council doing it, we wouldn't have the clean water and things that we have, of course, right?
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
no, we can barely pronounce the words.
Barely. We can, and what those BPMs and all that stuff.
That's
stands
right.
for, I'll leave that up to the director.
That's right. Is there any questions on this? Yes.
Not necessarily a question, just a comment. I'm just wondering if, like we were just talking about the putting a coin in the meters and how, you know, old that's getting. I just find it when I get asked that, why, when you shut off the water, is there a charge, and when you turn it back on, why can't you just combine that as a shut off? You know, because really, like, they charge me to put my car on the ramp. They don't charge me to take it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's the same, but it sounds better like a water shut off. Done.
Yeah.
Rather than say, well, you know, it'll cost you $50 turned off, but
Maybe there's, Mr. Burton, maybe there's a reason, what's the reason for that?
Well, the reason is sometimes we will be asked to turn the water off or turn the water on, and not both. Like, we're getting a lot of requests now, people that are going south for the winter or going away, but they're asking us to turn the water off. So that's what we're doing. So we're only charging them for that service at this time. So instead of charging for off and on, when they only want it off.
but I would assume they'll want it back on when they come
I
back.
guess it might be a different owner or something too, depending on the property.
Okay, no, as long as they're, you know, it just seems like, you know, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, if we can
Yeah, you would logically-
combine it, if we can combine it and just like a shut off, like if somebody has a water break, shut it off and put it back on and just have the one feed.
Well, maybe, Mr. Mayor, maybe it's a matter of them indicating the time frame too. It might save on administration
Yeah.
for billing. Anyway,
Anyway, just a thought.
fair point.
Okay, any other
Thank you.
questions on this one? The one thing I'd just like to point out, there is talking about the announcement, the media releases around water sewer. If you haven't, sign up for the Voyant Alert, so you can get on your phone the text messages or emails or whatever. Whenever there's a water outage, a road closure, things like that, or an other important event, you'll get this on your phone if you sign up for Voyant Alerts. You know, we try to put things out on social media and other forums, but it's really hard to be as reactive. Our processes include posting things to Voyant Alert, so it's a great way to stay up to date on everything that's going on. Right? Okay, any other questions there? Okay. So on the Public Works side of things, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Works, and this is from September 9th to October 9th. This is for a month. Storm insulation, 50 meters of 375 mm HDPE storm pipe was installed between September the 23rd and October the 1st on Batstones Road from Osmonds Avenue intersection past Veteran Square. 103 meters of curb and gutter were poured on October the 8th and 9th. Curb and manhole repairs, work is going on, and work will continue late into the fall. Guide rails and the installation of a guide rail on Curling Street, east of the War Memorial, was done the week of October the 7th. Other areas that require guardrails will be completed at the end of October. Ditching, crews rechanneled existing ditches on the following street: Quadra Drive, Petrie Street, and Cranes Avenue. Other avenues that require ditching will be completed by the end of October. The park operations have wound down with staff completing turf repairs on east side and Atlantic soccer fields. Fields were seeded, limed, and fertilized between October the 1st and 7th. Winter preparations, grant staff have been working at ensuring our snow clearing equipment is inspected and all necessary repairs are completed over the next few weeks. We had some service calls for requests from September 9th to October 9th. We had 116 calls received. The top three categories of requests were road maintenance and potholes were 64, curb 25, and broken and missing signage was 7. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions on any of these items? Yes, go ahead.
Under the parks, park operators, did the turf repairs to East Side and Atlantic soccer fields. Will that take care of the complaints we had at East Side in early summer, or
Yeah, and I don't know
the
if,
holes that were there that the parents were concerned with safety for their kids? Will that take care of that?
right, and I don't know who would like to speak to that. Would you, Mr. Burton, or you, Mr. Robertson?
Either one of us can, Mr. Mayor.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well,
So-
you have the first chance.
All right, perfect. I'll take the first chance.
If it's
So-
no good, we'll go to Mr. Burton.
Very good, excellent. Yes, that is what was those holes that were reported earlier and we were struggling with. Once we had the reports of those, we worked with Public Works to do sort of a temporary repair process. We keep the fields open throughout the season. Once the season ended for the fields, Public Works went in and made a more permanent repair, so they should be good to go for next spring.
Perfect, thank you.
Good. Okay, any other questions? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm just curious, I had a conversation with Director Burton earlier about Upper Walburns, and I'm just wondering if that is one of the streets that it says other areas that require ditching will be completed by the end of October.
My understanding that was done last week.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Thank you.
Any other? Yes.
Just a comment on the work that was carried out on Benson's Road, Maslin Avenue to Veterans Square. Long overdue, and I just want to commend staff on getting that done. I know they get a lot of complaints about water runoff in that area, so it's good to see that they, were able to get up and put some storm sewer in, and also the extension, or I guess installation, of a curb from the former CBC building, if anybody knows where that is, and what I call Hospital Hill, but I'm told it's Premier Drive. Still Hospital Hill to me, and down around to deal with all the washouts we're having continually every year. So kudos to staff for getting that work done. I know people, ask and complain, but it takes time, and when they get around to it, they did a good job. So just want to commend staff on that.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Can we get an update on patching, please?
Mr. Burton?
I'm happy to report that patching has commenced for the fall of 2024, and there are still some out there, but we're knocking them off every bad weather day that Marine is not doing bigger jobs or they're patching for us. But I will encourage anyone that has a patch or a gravel section on their road right now that doesn't look like it's been prepped or getting ready to be paved, that they call 637-1666, just so that we don't miss any this late in the year. We like to get them all now before the snow comes. So, if you don't see prep work or pavement in the next few days or even the end of this week, we'd like to get a call from you to make sure that every road out there with a water and sewer cut will get done.
Excellent. I can't believe it. We actually ask for people to call in potholes. But it is very important because we do want to fix them, but we need to know about them. Yes.
I guess I read a report that one guide rail was completed on Curling Street. We had to report that there were 2. And do we know when the second one will be finished or started to be worked on?
I'm not sure, Mr. Burton.
Yeah, so we'll have all, I think there was 2 sections, one on Curling Street and one on Griffin Drive, I think was the second one. We're hoping to have that one completed by the end of this month as well. So end of next week, we will be, we're hoping to have a lot of our seasonal stuff winding down such that we can prepare for the winter.
Thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Yes,
I
Councilor.
just wanted to highlight, Mr. Mayor, 'cause last time we spoke about the patch on Riverside Drive where we had a washout, and that's now been repaired, which is nice to see. So good on that. And the fair section of Riverside Drive around the port, done as well. So nice to see staff getting those patches and paving completed. So kudos.
Yes.
Good time to give an update on the work on Curling Street too, around the monument that's been shut.
Yeah, and I guess we can get to that if you want when we get to the
Okay.
capital projects.
Perfect. Thank
Because this, of course, we don't want to confuse people. There's some work that we can do in patching and paving work that our Public Works takes care of, and then there are other bigger projects, of course, that we do through some of our capital programs as well. So yes, remind me if we don't get to that,
Yeah.
speak to get to that in the report. Yes, Deputy Mayor.
Talking about patching, East Valley Road has been patched.
It has been patched, that's right.
And we have some very happy people over on East Valley Road, let me tell you. So thank you to Public Works
Yeah.
for doing that, or whoever did it.
That's right. Excellent.
No,
Yes.
I know as somebody that had, like, when you have a cut by your house and it's their wall, it is an inconvenience. There's no one knows, only the people that are living with it. And, I spoke with the director too. We have to do what we can to make sure we don't miss any, because once they move, I don't think our residents realizes that, you just can't go back. It's just too much gear, it's too heavy, it's everything like that. So, but for the ones that are living with it, it can be a royal pain, and it's, my heart goes out to them, but for us as councillor and staff, it happens, we got to do what we can to make sure it doesn't happen again, but.
But it's important to know, water cuts especially, at
Yes.
bigger patches,
Yeah.
we try to get our contractor to do a lot of those
Yes.
because they have the proper
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah.
So rather than just do it with, our own mix or cold patch, that's not a long-term solution.
No.
So that's why it does take some
Yeah.
time to do it. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let's move on to capital projects. Councillor Pender, we have a report there.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just some updates on some current projects. I guess one that's on everybody's mind is the Corner Brook Rec Center, and substantial completion is anticipated by the end of the year. Delivery of the slide is expected in the next 25 days, and deficiencies are anticipated to be rectified by mid-December. That's good news. Mount Bernard reconstruction, the work is pretty well done. The second coat of asphalt will be done next spring. This is something we typically do, put down the base coat and then wait for the following year to do the top coat. Deep Gulch Brook culvert replacement, the project was awarded, it's underway, and the end wall is completed. The large diameter culvert is being installed in areas of water transmission mains, so that's happening. Curling Street retaining wall, Councillor Griffin just mentioned a moment ago. So the contract was mobilized back to site after some delay on September 16th, and we anticipate completion by mid-November, so a few weeks more. The transportation study, the project has been awarded to Harborside Transportation Consultants, well underway. Some draft policies have been submitted for review. MyoVision camera has been deployed to several intersections to obtain counts and movements, and we're waiting on the draft report for that. The transit accessibility study and implementation plan, it's continuing. The final report is expected mid-October, I guess we'll say, and council will be briefed following the receipt of that report. Intersection improvements, again, well underway. Design is being completed, and we expect a fall 2024 tender with the spring installation. Issue for tender drawings was returned to consultant on October 14th. Current Street Storm Sewer, that work is underway, about 90% complete. That's at the four-way stop there, and the asphalt should be going down anytime now. So I was down there the other day, and they were, what's today? I was down there yesterday, and they were preparing it, so it's coming along there now. Main Street pedestrian bridge, the bridge is in place, and reinstatement is in progress, so that was done fairly quickly. Nice to see. Old Humber Road retaining wall is pretty well complete, 99%. There's a safety railing that needs to be installed on that, so that happened very quickly as well. Our paving program has been discussed already. The contract with Marine Contractors is about 95% complete, with one street remaining, and I'm wondering if that hasn't been done. Great Trail Phase 2. Contract, of course, was awarded some time ago, and they anticipate that it will be completed in November. About 70% of the project is complete. Nice to see they have it paved now from the mill, the sections that are being paved from the mill, right up to the end of Humber Road now. The curb is being installed, or I think yesterday was up there and along Riverside Drive, the last section, and it looks like that's ready for paving as well, so it won't be very long before all that's completed. It's good to see. Star Trail Design and Construction Services, design and construction of Man in the Mountain and Cape Bloomingdown hiking trails. Funding has been received from several sources, and the city is contributing 10%. The draft final report was received, and there will be a meeting with stakeholders. There was a meeting with stakeholders, I should say. to review the draft report on the 15th of October. The City Hall atrium lighting, we're trying different lights, I guess, to see which is the optimal product for the desired effect, so that's underway. Last meeting, we talked about a community market feasibility, so the funding has been obtained to conduct the feasibility study in the city surrounding the community market. This project will engage residents, business owners, event organizers, and local farmers to understand the interests as well as wants and needs of this type of venue. So the RFP closed on October 16th. An evaluation will take place, and RFD will be submitted to the next council meeting for the award of that. Bartlett's Point Park Bandstand. Funding has been applied to construct a bandstand performing area as well as a parking lot upgrades to Bartlett's Point Park. This will see more accessible access for residents to use the park, as well as a performing area looking out over the Bay Islands. If funding is approved, the first phase of the project will take place, which consists of the design and the upgrades. So we're waiting for the results of the funding application. Confederation Drive intersection design. This project will see Confederation Drive from the northeast of the Plaza intersection to the roundabout redesign to make the intersections in this area much safer. Work will include lane reductions and installation of a multi-use sidewalk. Further funding is required for the completion of work, and this portion of the project is design only and will bring the project to a shovel-ready state, and this is funded by the city's own funds. The design has been awarded to Anglo, and we should have a start meeting soon. And finally, the Kinsman Park well upgrade. The city of Corner Brook contributed $10,000 to the Kinsman Prince Edward Park to facilitate a well upgrade. I guess they're having some issues with water and needed some help. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any questions on these multitude of items that are going on? I will say, yes, the Kinsman Park there, as I understand it, their well was in need of repair for some time. And as we've seen in the news recently, they are getting substantial visitation to the area. Of course, that park is owned by the city, but we have a long-term lease with the Kinsmen who run the park. And part of the deal is, of course, it's an economic generator. So we have some seasonal people who do go there, but it's very limited because we want tourists, of course. So there's been some really notable visits there in the last couple of years. Groups of people with bowler trailers and other enthusiast groups that come through. It's been really successful. So they, for the most part, I think they're funding most of that well upgrade themselves. We're just contributing $10,000, I think, to that. Any other questions there? No? Excellent.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Deep Gulch Brook culvert replacement. I see there's a road going up to the left as you're going toward,
RNC?
yeah. And I'm not 100% sure what the road is. I'm getting some questions on what's happening there. Are we going to change it forever, or is this just temporary?
I'm sure it's temporary, but Mr. Burton can confirm, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just a temporary road for now for when we have to sever O'Connell Drive to cross under there with the new culvert system. So I believe it's just temporary for RNC access, actually. I don't think there's any intent on putting like city traffic through there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Because it went right straight to the RNC building, but I was wondering what happened when you got there, where was the traffic going to go? Okay, so that'll be a big diversion then when it comes to making our traffic go a certain way through the park. And
There's a limited, I think this project, the timing of it is uncertain, I guess, but there is a certain set amount of time when O'Connell Drive will have to close for a very short period. There is a contractual, I think, a few
It's a
day
3
amount.
days. We're going to show it for 3 days, I think.
Yeah.
And all work has to be completed within that 3 days.
So I guess the question is how much will be done this fall versus next spring?
Yeah, we're still assessing that. We don't want to get in a situation where we open up O'Connell Drive or University Avenue and not be able to pave it. We don't want that to be a gravel section all winter. So we're still working with the contractor on schedule and to see if we go ahead with that crossing this year, or do we look at possibly in the spring, but it's not been determined yet.
Are they on schedule? Like, or are we behind? Because,
It was dependent, I know, as well
On
on
weather.
the Mount Bernard work, partly. So that did have some impact on when it was done, so I don't know. I'm not sure
We could
exactly.
be behind, but it's if we are, it's not by a lot.
okay, thank you.
Okay, good,
Good.
good, okay. Next, sustainable development. Councillor Pender, we have some updates from projects there.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, Billion Tree Project, aerial imagery combined with on-the-ground LiDAR imagery collected throughout the last 18 months has been able to construct an urban forest inventory of Corner Brook. The imagery is able to provide and validate information on tree location, health, canopy, and other tree attributes with a high resolution of 3 to 7 centimeters. Alongside technical data, we've been able to conduct a public survey to gain insight into the attitudes towards and influence of the urban forest on residents in Corner Brook. Project partner Doug Piercy will be presenting the findings of the imagery and social survey of the 2BT project as a main speaker for the Canadian Urban Forest Conference 2024 from October 15th to 18th in Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's nice to see. Next, the Corner Brook cleanup with a Clean Swell app. Planning an open clean-up operation of the city of Corner Brook while encouraging residents to clean up using the Clean Swell app. The Clean Swell app is a tool that is used across Canada for organizing beach and community cleanups. The app allows users to track their time and mileage for the overall cleanup, while additionally allowing the number of and type of garbage items to be selected from a list of 45 commonly found litter items. Next, we have the Food Cycler Pilot Program. In May of 2024, the Food Cycler Pilot Program was introduced to the City of Corner Brook, an indoor composting program which offers residents the opportunity to purchase a food cycler for a subsidized price through partnerships with Food Cycler and Impact Canada. The pilot program allowed 100 residents to purchase a food cycler and track the daily usage of the indoor composter over a 12-week period. The first round of the food cycler program wrapped up at the end of September 2024, and there will be a public presentation on the project to present the total amount of organic waste that was diverted from the landfill by using the food cycler. As a result of the success of the first program, there will be a second round of the food cycler program, which will begin at the beginning of November. If anyone is interested in participating, please contact Kristen here at the city. I don't actually have a number, but you can call our 637-1666, I guess, and they'll find Kristen for you. All right. And finally, Mr. Mayor, the fall leaf collection, which I guess everybody's following the city's social media, is being advertised as well. The third pond access will be open for residents to drop off their leaves and branches into outdoor piles that are designated for natural decomposition. In addition, between November 4th and November 8th, there will be regular curbside collection for leaves and branches. As mentioned, residents will also have the option to avail of the third pond access leaf drop-off from November 4th until November 15th. There will be a dumpster on site for residents to discard their plastic and or paper leaf bags following dumping their contents in the natural decomposition pile. And that's it for the report, Mr. Mayor, but I wonder if, I guess Mr. Burden or whomever might be able to tell people where the third pond access is, because that's the question that I keep getting, and maybe when we advertise, we can put a little map here to indicate where it is off the Lower Parkway, so people know exactly where it is.
That's right. Mr. Burke, would you like to describe where that is exactly?
Yes, so if you take O'Connell Drive up to where it intersects the Loon Parkway, take a left at that intersection, and as you go up over the hill on the Loon Parkway, you will see the fire training ground to the right, which is a series of sea cans and a tower. That roadway is there's a roadway there that'll take you into the third pond site. What the third pond is the old curling water supply. So it's still designated as a water supply, but we don't currently use it. So we're using that area there now for the leaf and recycling.
Good, as clear as it can be. Okay, any other questions on this report?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Is last year's Christmas tree allowed to be dropped off as branches?
You cut it up small.
Joking. I still have mine.
Any other, nice. Pickling it. Any other questions? Yes, Deputy
Just a
Mayor.
clarification, I guess, that paper bags are accepted when you drop them into the drop-off, but not accepted at the curb. Right, or am I wrong on that?
Who would like to
I
answer
believe-
that? Mr. Burton?
I believe the paper bag is the preferred method at the curb. But what they're asking, what they're saying is there's a dumpster going to be on site at the third pond site, so that you can dump your, instead of just throwing your bags of leaves into the pile, we're asking that you actually physically dump them in the pile, and then the dumpster will be there to put your paper bag, plastic bag, whatever you bring your leaves in to the,
So paper bags are accepted at the curb? Because, I mean, we had a problem one time with the orange bags that kids were using for Halloween, that you couldn't see into them. So if you couldn't see into an orange bag, you certainly aren't going to see into a paper bag.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I always assumed that the paper bag or clear bags were allowed at the curb. I know we do debag when we collect and bring them to the disposal site.
Okay.
That's a big operation that we do to take the bags out. I think, yeah, in this case here, what Mr. Bird said, when they're dropped off there will be a bag, or there will be a dumpster just for disposing of your bags, so we don't mix it in with the leaves and that. But we got to check social media on that. I'm sure we posted a bunch of things, and we could probably figure that out in the next couple of minutes and get back to us on what exactly the process is for getting rid of your leaves at the curb. Okay, any other questions? Or do you want me to do an interpretive dance while Mr. Burns frantically goes through his emails and
I got it
Facebook?
here, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, there you see? What's the answer? What does it say?
Leaves must be in a clear plastic bag only. Black bags, brown paper bags will not be accepted.
There you go.
That's what it says here. I knew I had seen it somewhere, but
You got it.
if it changed, well, then we need
Yep.
to let the residents know it has changed.
No, that's
So
the,
social media.
that's what it says, that's what it is.
no, my phone just blew up, no paper.
No paper.
No paper bags at the curb.
Oh, really?
Strike that from the minutes.
Someone
Well,
watching.
somebody's watching.
What's the meaning of life? Okay.
And also do not blow, sweep, or rake your leaves into the streets.
Yes, if you get leaves into our storm sewer system, it is very problematic. And that can cause a lot of problems with flooding in that further down the road. So please, please don't put leaves in the gutter.
And our sweeper is on the street. I saw it today.
Good.
Yeah, so that's all good. Thank you.
Excellent.
Well, at least we cleared that one up.
There you go.
Just to further
Yes.
that point, I think, Mr. Mayor, I think it's an idea to make sure that the leaves aren't blocking the catch basins too, because
Yep.
especially now with the rain and, like, water has to go somewhere.
That's
So-
right. It's that time of year, it's a wet time of
Yeah.
year. Okay, thank you for that. Next, we have some updates from Development Planning. Councillor Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is intended to serve as an update to council and the public regarding the various development and planning projects. The current project updates are as follows. The Planning Department is currently working with Dillon Consulting on an industrial park study. There are only 3 pieces of easily developable industrial land remaining in Corner Brook. This presents a challenge and an opportunity for strategic economic planning. An industrial park study in Corner Brook can significantly bolster economic development by identifying optimal locations for new businesses and industries, streamlining infrastructure needs, and attracting investment. By analyzing factors such as land availability, existing infrastructure, transportation access, and resource utilization, the study can pinpoint strategic areas where an industrial park would be most beneficial. The Planning Department is also currently working to finalize the last draft documents of the 2025-2035 Integrated Municipal Sustainability Plan, which we are hoping will be out for public review early in the new year. Development staff are busy with multiple large commercial projects ongoing, as well as multiple new builds. A couple of exciting projects the team are working on include an extension to the existing gym, construction of multiple new apartment buildings, as well as finalizing work on a fast food restaurant with completion expected early next month.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any questions? Development planning world?
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, what's the gym? Is it Counterbalance?
I believe that is one that is ongoing. That's right down in the Valley Mall.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Next, Councillor Gill, we have a few updates on our finances.
Thank you. So you've got the detailed financial statements attached. The summary, though, of the income and expenses for the period ending September 2024 is as follows. Total revenues reported amounted to $37,303,446, up from the year-to-date budget of $36,042,573. That's great. And the total expenses amounted to $23,925,925, down from the budget of $28,284,472. So I guess bottom line, we're up. That's all I have to report right now, but I do have a question, if that's okay.
Yes, go ahead.
I note that our director of finance is not here, so I don't know if Director Charters can answer, but I noticed that the only revenues where we're down are sales of goods and services and other income.
Yep.
I'm wondering what goods and services we sell and what other income would be.
Hello, Mr. Charters. Tell us about some other...
Tricky questions.
Really hoping you weren't going to ask that much of a detailed question in the absence of Mr. Maestri. I do not know that. I had that same question when I was going through the report, but I could certainly find it.
Okay, great.
Some of our
That's the only thing I
businesses
noticed.
would include things like our Civic Center revenue as well, I believe.
But I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure. So again, distinct from taxes or things like the government transfers is a weird one because we can't budget for a lot there, but obviously we count on a lot of that capital work. And we put that through our system. So it often shows on our final audited statements as a large surplus of that particular item. But really, it's almost temporary in the sense that when we get money to say do Mount Bernard, goes in again. We do take it as revenue. But yes, the goods and services, the sale of goods and services, I'm pretty sure that would lump into there. But again,
But we will find
wherever you are,
Stephen.
when Mr. Maestri comes back, I'm sure he can answer your questions. in
Thank
great
you, Mr.
detail.
Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions there? Okay, everything looks pretty much on track. Councillor Keeping, we have an update from Recreation as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the summer recreation season is drawing to a close, a number of recreation projects are occurring in anticipation of summer 2025. These projects include the swimming pool deck at Margaret Bowater Park is being upgraded in the coming weeks. The Windsor Street basketball court has been cleaned up and new basketball nets are being installed. A number of the protective nets surrounding the softball and baseball diamonds are being replaced and upgraded. And Carberry's playground will be updated and upgraded in the coming weeks. Additionally, a significant number of fall/winter programs have begun at the Civic Center and the studio, including Monterey, Silver Blade Skating Club, Pickleball, Norris Fitness, and Corner Brook Curling Association. And as for events, the past week in Corner Brook played host to the annual VolleyFest volleyball tournament, where our city welcomed 55 volleyball teams to our city. A big shout out to the athletes, the families, and the organizers who participated and contributed to this successful weekend. And coming up on December 3rd, 2024, the Civic Center will be hosting the 2024 Stars on Ice Holiday Tour, featuring inline skaters Elvis Dyko and Caitlin Asbeth. And tickets are available through the Civic Center. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. Any questions on this? No? Okay, thank you very much. Lots going on this time of year still. Next, Mr. Charters, you had a memo for us on regional services.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In July of 2012, the recommended government structure for the Western Regional Service Board was approved by the Minister of Municipal Affairs. This structure included 11 regular members and a chair which represents 9 sub-regions that are based on population, geography, and operation. I've attached some more information in the background documents. As such, the City of Corner Brook has 2 representatives on the Regional Service Board, as it is the largest sub-region with the highest population. In more recent years, the provincial government has indicated that the regional service boards across the province should take a broader role in coordinating and providing other services. At the regular council meeting held on October 7th, a motion was put forward to appoint Mayor Parsons to the Regional Service Board. The vote on the motion was tied, and it is required to be voted on again this evening. During the discussion on the matter, the question was raised whether the city requires 2 members on the board, so I felt it was appropriate to address the issue in this report. As noted above, the governance structure of the Regional Service Board allows for 2 municipal representatives that must be members of council as dictated by the Regional Service Board Act. The role of the board members is to represent the interests of the city with respect to decisions concerning the services the board provides now or could provide in the future. Although representatives are expected to promote the city's interests, the members cannot commit the City of Corner Brook to any obligation, such as an agreement to provide services to other member communities. Any such agreements or obligations would have to be approved by the City of Corner Brook Council. It is very important to have 2 members on the board, as the City of Corner Brook should have the strongest voice at the table, as any decisions made by the board have significant impact on the city both financially and operationally. Having any less than 2 representatives on the board would not be in the best interest of the city and would not effectively represent the residents of the city. The Regional Service Board Act also outlines rules determining conflict of interest for the members of the board. It specifically states that conflicts arise when the member has a monetary interest, but the interest must be distinct from an interest arising from his or her function as a member. In other words, a monetary interest you may have because you're related to someone who owns a waste collection company would in fact put you in a conflict. However, voting on an issue that has monetary impacts on the City of Corner Brook most certainly does not put you in a conflict. You are a member of the board because you're an elected member of council, and you are on the board precisely to represent the city's interests.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, the next item I am in a conflict for. I am going to go over to the gallery and sit down. And Deputy Mayor, I'll ask that you take up the reins on this while I'm gone. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Point of order, Madam Deputy. There's a second conflict of interest that was declared as well. That should be addressed.
Councillor Gill.
I believe at our last council meeting, or previous council meeting, we declared at the time when you were on the service board, both yourself and Councillor Gill would be in conflict of interest regarding the Western Service Board. So therefore, Councillor Gill is still in a conflict of interest as she's still on the Western Services Board. So she should not be voting on this motion. I do not believe.
Madam Chair, if I might respond?
Councillor Griffin first.
I thought what we just heard answered that question, that they're not in conflict. I thought that's what
That's right.
the report just said, that they're not, unless they're getting monetary money for it, then they're not in a conflict. So we just heard that, unless I heard it wrong. But, so why are we going down this road again?
Madam Chair. The council makes a decision on conflict of interest. Council made a decision 2 meetings ago. That decision has not been changed.
Madam Chair?
And somebody in a conflict should not address the conflict.
I'm not in a conflict.
You were asked, once you're deemed to be in a conflict, Councillor Gill, you cannot speak to the topic.
Okay,
Well, then you're in a conflict too, because you used to be on the
I'm off
board.
it.
Doesn't matter. You bring your own interest to the discussion.
No,
If I'm in a conflict, I believe you are as well, Madam Chair.
I will defend myself on that. I have resigned.
I'm not allowed to defend myself.
Well, I'm no longer with the Regional Service Board. I am totally 100% councillor at the table right now.
again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. This was voted on based on the information that we had at the time. That's been cleared up now. We didn't know, we did declare both members in conflict to protect them in case this was wrong. We just heard from the city manager that they're not. So what was the point of putting our city manager to go through all that? And what was the point of anything you just said if we're not going to believe it? We asked, to get clarification, we got it. Why are we going down this road? It makes no sense.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to submit that I did speak to our legal counsel about this this is a little bit different than what I just read. But my opinion, and also that of our legal counsel, is that Councillor Gill is not, in fact, in a conflict. I just wanted to put that opinion out there for council to consider.
Thank you, Madam
Councillor
Chair. Just because we have opinions doesn't change the fact that the council made a decision. Council can change that decision, but the decision was made.
We have to bring a new motion. The Councillor Gill's not in a conflict
We have
or
to
in
make
a
a
conflict.
motion and vote on the motion.
Okay. Who wants to put the motion forward?
I make a motion that she's not in conflict.
Seconder?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
I think we did.
Oh, no, we still offered.
I know, no,
Discussion is process.
Not a discussion, Madam Chair, but if the councillor who's in question is still sitting at the table, they should move again.
Until we get the motion.
Until we vote on the motion.
Madam Chair, you're in charge too, by the way. You get to determine what happens here.
I
not a
am
councillor.
determining it. I just determined it
I know,
with you,
I know.
Councillor Griffin, and I
I know.
will continue. So,
Yeah.
Councillor Gill, can you sit in the gallery until we make our decision on if you're in a conflict or not?
Yeah, go ahead, Pam.
This is,
I know. Go on,
it's foolishness. This is absolutely foolish.
Point of
Yeah.
order.
Pam.
Oh, my.
Call for the question. Any
Could you
more
repeat the
discussion?
question, please, Chair?
The motion,
Yeah, that Councillor,
read that?
that Councillor Gill is not in a conflict.
Councillor Bradley, got anything to say?
No.
And it was seconded by Councillor Keeping. All those in favor?
Just read the motion again. It's a negative,
Yeah.
She's not.
it's written in a negative form.
So you agree, you vote for, if there's no conflict, correct, Madam Chair? Let me speak for you.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we have to take into account the information we just heard.
Okay,
You wanna read the-
That's why we
read the
asked it.
motion?
read the motion, give me the motion again, Councillor Griffin.
I make a motion that Councillor Gill is not in a conflict of interest concerning this subject.
Call for the question, Madam Chair?
Call for the question. All those in favor?
She's not.
Against? Okay.
So what's the point of getting our city manager to do all that? We delay stuff because we want more information. We get the information and we go the other way anyway. Why are we muzzling our councillors who are voted in to speak? This makes no sense.
Okay. 11-2. Councillor Griffin?
Oh, sorry. At the last regular meeting on October 7, 2024, the motion below was made and resulted in a tie vote in accordance with Section 36(3) of the City of Corner Brook, where there is a tie vote on a question, the question shall be raised at the next meeting of the councillors, and in the vote on the question at that meeting is a tie vote. The motion shall be considered to be lost. So I would read out the motion again.
Yeah, please.
On a motion by Councillor Griffin, second by Councillor Keeping, it is resolved to appoint Mayor Jim Parsons as the City of Corner Brook Council representative on the Western Regional Service Board. I so move.
Seconder?
I'll second.
Mr. Keating? Discussion?
Well, I think we got our answer. Now, if we decide not to accept it, that's something else. But, I mean, we have people that show us direction, you know, and that's their job, that's their role, and they're doing it. And I just think for us to just not to follow it for the sake of just not following it, to me, it makes no sense. I mean, as much as I have to have a reason to vote, then I think, I don't know what your reason, but a reason would be not to vote. Or not to, you know, I'm not saying you're not voting, but to.
Anything else?
No.
Call for the question, Madam Chair.
Okay, call for the question.
Just want to make sure I'm reading the motion correctly. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, the motion is to appoint Jim Parsons as City of Corner Brook Council representative on the Western Regional Service Board right now. That's the only question we're asking, right? So, all those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Gone.
Wow. Wow.
We just will only have one member then, and I'll be in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Fine with me.
We're there. That procedure is incorrect, just so everyone knows. Conflict of interest, when there is a question before council on conflict, the person does not vacate their seat until they're found to be in conflict. They have the ability to defend or explain the nature of the conflict. So we're going to have to go back for rules of procedure to figure out whether or not we got to do this whole thing again, or how we're going to revive this. I still have failed to hear anything with regard to how the rationale for not appointing two members to this board. But again, I'll hope that the media will ask the councillors to my right here to explain why they are not appointing anyone to the board and not stepping forward to volunteer for this board. So again, very strange and disappointed. I have not heard any rational argument for this. Again, I only volunteered because there was no one stepping up to do it. This is a puzzler for me, and no one has. Yes, Deputy, can you explain it maybe?
No, I'm not explaining it. I was going to go back and say that at the meeting when myself and Councillor Gill were put in the conflict of interest, we were not removed from that conflict of interest. Therefore, tonight, she was still in a conflict of interest.
It was a completely different issue. This was about appointing a member. This had nothing to do with another question in the process. Right? These, again, there's how many people here are experienced councillors and former mayors and don't understand the basic rules of procedure here? This is very disturbing. Well, you know what? We're going to investigate this, and we'll come back to it. If not, let's move ahead with this. Councillor Gill, we have a Crown Land application here, Massey Drive. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, would you prefer that we left, that I left? You know, I mean, you're really upset and really,
You've left, why would I would expect you to do your job, that's all I expect
okay,
from you.
I will do my job, but
Okay, we'll do it then, thank you. Yes, Councillor Gill, please.
it's back to Chair, yeah.
Yes, I'm Chair, thank you very much. Okay,
The City of Corner Brook has received a Crown Land application pertaining to a portion of land adjacent to Tippings Pond in Massey Drive that is located within the planning boundaries of the City of Corner Brook. An existing 2-kilometer walking, hiking trail along with a parking area was constructed by the town of Massey Drive during the period of 1998 to 2000 around Tippings Pond. At that time, no license to occupy was applied for or issued. The town is now seeking a license to occupy for the existing trail. A portion of the trail system is located within the City of Corner Brook planning area, and as a result, an application was made to the city. In an effort to resolve the issue, the applicant has applied to the Crown to acquire a license to occupy the land in question. The land is located in a rural zone where a trail, as a recreational open space classification of use, is a permitted use of the City of Corner Brook development regulations. This application was considered by internal staff, and there are no concerns. It is resolved to approve the Crown land application for the existing walking hiking trail for a portion of land in the vicinity of Tippings Pond, Massey Drive, which falls within the City of Corner Brook planning boundaries. I so move.
thank you. Seconder on that?
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this item?
I do have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
So this is just for the use that we're making the application for? They're not actually applying for the Crown land itself within the city boundary?
It's a license to occupy.
Can somebody explain what that means exactly?
That is the right to put a trail there. They won't own it.
Oh, that was my
Yeah,
question.
but it's in our planning boundary because Corner Brook surrounds Massey Drive.
That's the question. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried. We have an amendment to Mount Bernard Avenue reconstruction. Councillor Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Due to unforeseen site conditions and difficulties during construction, considerable redesign and construction administration was required as construction progressed in the 2023 season. Throughout the project, issues regarding Bell Alliant infrastructure and the condition of existing storm sewer required Dillon Consulting to perform additional design work. This was required for work in progress. Work included the full redesign of the roadway and storm and infrastructure in some areas on Mount Bernard Avenue. As such, this change order is to reimburse Dillon Consulting for this work. Detailed descriptions can be found in the attached supporting document. Be it resolved that the City of Corner Brook Council approve Amendment Number 1 on the Mount Bernard reconstruction for Dillon Consulting Limited in the amount of $134,080.41, HST included. I so move.
Thank you very much. Seconder on that?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, pick your choice, Madam Clerk. Any questions on this one? So, of course, there were some design changes and things as part of this project that had to be dealt with. Okay, and the funding was included in our updated funding from ISIP. Okay. Okay, let's vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried. And we have a storm sewer, the consulting services for Broadway storm sewer. Councilor Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This RFD is intended to address the selection of a prime consultant related to the Broadway storm sewer. This project is funded under the 2023-2026 multi-year capital works program. and consists of replacement of approximately 90 meters of CMP storm pipe, curb, gutter, sidewalk, and asphalt patching. The City of Corner Brook requests proposal to select a prime consultant for the project. Be it resolved that the Council of the City of Corner Brook accept the proposal submitted by Anderson Engineering Consultants Limited for the Broadway Storm Sewer in the amount of $42,644.30, HST included. The Corner Brook City Council authorizes the city manager to sign the PCA agreement with the consultant Anderson Engineering Limited on behalf of the City of Corner Brook. I so move.
Thank you. Seconder on that?
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this one?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just, I wonder if staff can give us a general location where this would, work would be undertaken?
Mr. Burton?
Yeah, it's on the Broadway, on the, I guess, the Valley Mall end of Broadway. Yeah, the turn there.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. And last but not least, Preacher Street Bridge Replacement. Deputy Mayor Chason.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This RFD is intended to address the selection of a prime consultant related to Petrie Street Bridge replacement. The project is funded under the 2023-2026 Multiple Capital Works Program and consists of removal and replacement of a 12-meter-long concrete bridge. This includes the water and sewer infrastructure, curb, gutter, sidewalk, and associated asphalt. Buried infrastructure in the immediate area will have to be removed and replaced to facilitate the bridge culvert installation. The City of Recorder requested proposals to select a prime consultant for the project. The resolution be it resolved, the City of Corner Brook, Council of City of Corner Brook accept the proposal submitted by the Anglo Corp. The Petrie Street Bridge replacement in the amount of $73,817.59. Your HST is included in that. The Corner Brook City Council authorized the city manager to sign the PCA agreement with the consultant Anglo on behalf of the City of Corner Brook. I so move.
Thank you. Seconder?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Questions on this one? Nope. Okay.
That's good.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.